Hey dudes and dudettes, welcome back. This is going to be the second in the video on helping people start out. In the first video we talked about farmers, how to select them, which one's the right one for you, and how to gear them. In this one, the next step, once you've got that farmer to max 5-star, you've got your vampiric set, it's time to decide what type of team you want to build. Now, to do that, there's several great guides out there. Actually, if we take a look at GameLoft's own in-game guide here, they have great recommendations on units to look out for and build to be successful in later parts of the game. And this guide is available on their Facebook page. Here we're going to focus more on the abilities to be successful. So first, starting with Elder Drake. Elder Drake, the reason why Mojo, which is the Nature Gremlin Shaman, is an important unit is because of his buffs. He raises attack and raises defense. The dragon has a roar that does hit hard and also has an added stun component to it. So being able to absorb more damage is always a plus. Being able to do more damage all in one unit is another major plus, and that's why he is a mainstay. Then when we look at the Water Crystal Priest, he is very important. One, because he heals, so this is a backup healer in case you're taking more damage than Xenia can cover herself, but also because of the immunity buff. As I mentioned, the dragon does do a stun when he roars. Immunity will cancel out that effect. And then we have regeneration to heal you back up. Xenia, her ability is she lowers defense. This is on her auto attack. So this is a great ability to have, as it'll allow your units to do more damage to the dragon. Then she also removes 3 buffs. Something that the dragon has is his roar, which we've talked about. But he also has an attack buff. If he roars with an attack buff, if you're new just getting into Elder Drake, it is possible he could one-shot your team. So being able to remove that is key. Next, she heals. And not only does she heal, but she also reduces the skill cooldown. This is kind of a theme that you're going to see in both Elder Drake and in Steel Widow. The faster that you can heal or cast spells, the faster the thing dies. Now, when you're looking at your units, likely you're going to have to take your farmer. And as we've discussed before, Crude or the Water Scan Berserker is an excellent choice because unlike the Water Spearman, he isn't as selfish and does bring a little utility to the team. So he can be your DPS. Now, those are units you're likely to have. The Water Spearman you're going to have. The Gremlin Shaman is extremely easy to get. So is the Water Crystal Priest. And Xenia, I do have a video on farming her. You can get her shards from the Light Bull that appears on Sunday. Just a quick note on that, and I don't remember if I mentioned that in the video, but I do not believe, and I can't prove it because I can't see the rates for the shard drop, but the higher levels do not increase drop chance. Higher levels of Light Bull increase the amount of shards that can be dropped. So if you're able to farm a higher level of Light Bull, I highly recommend it, as when shards do drop, you will get more. Now those are the common units. They're everywhere we see them. Now, units that could be a lot harder to get, as I mentioned, Crude. We do get the Water Spearman for free, but Crude is a good option. He is a 3-star unit, which means you can get him out of the common summons. Another mainstay in both Steel Widow 10 and Elder Drake 10 teams is Manus, the Water Timekeeper. Everyone has talked about him. We love the guy. He reduces cooldowns on skill 1. He has a leader skill that also reduces cooldowns. And on top of that, he has a small heal. So he is just an excellent unit. He has ongoing damage, which is a big deal. You can kind of see a theme here. You're really looking for an attack buff, healing, and damage. very, very important is ongoing damage. And Manus is a good option, who's a 3-star. There's also the Dark Hag. Now, I am a huge fan of the Dark Hag. She is quite possibly one of my favorite units. She's what I use as a social avatar in game. Now, the deal with her is her buff has to be up, which is Dark Pact, for her skill 3 to do ongoing damage. But when you have Adept gear on her and you're running her with a Xenia and you're running her with a Water Timekeeper, you're going to have this buff up a good amount of time. I haven't max skilled her yet. I'm hoping for some hags on Saturday so we can get her there. But this skill will be up often. I use her all the time. I run her with about 90% accuracy, 89% accuracy, and she has not let me down. I do need more HP on her. I am farming, but she's an excellent unit for a daughter. Now, she's also a light dark unit, which means you can only get her from light dark disc. So she's harder to get. The option that's also a 3-star, meaning we can get it from common disc, is going to be Rhoda or the Nature Valk. She brings an excellent kit to the team. She lowers defense on skill 2, she lowers attack on skill 3, and she raises attack speed. And again, lowers skill cooldowns. So if you are lucky enough to get a hag and you do need another daughter to complement Water Timekeeper or a Manus, she is an excellent choice. She will make sure that Bubba Kruk will be able to keep her Dark Pact on, allowing her skill 3 to do ongoing damage. These are all 3-star units. They are all available out of the Common Disc Summon. Now moving on up the chain, if we're lucky enough, there are 4-star units that can fill those roles as well. We have the Nature Scion. This one also provides a mark. Now, keep in mind, don't pick him for the mark. Right now, they've already stated mark is currently bugged and not working as intended, so you don't want to focus too much on units that have it. It is supposed to do 25% damage, additional damage, but it's not. It's doing more. So don't really invest too heavily on a unit just specifically for mark. Now, on his skill 1, I like him a lot for this reason. He actually will remove a buff, and anytime he removes a buff, he will put an ongoing damage debuff on the enemy. Why this is good: if Xenia should miss the attack buff on Elder Drake, or she misses the shield or the invulnerability on Steel Widow, then we have the Nature Scion who can fill in, strip it, and in addition drop more ongoing damage on the boss. He's an excellent choice if you're looking for another daughter to fill the role that I use Bubba Kruk for. Next, we have the Nature Warlord. This guy looks great. I am actually going to build both the Nature Scion and the Nature Warlord once I have better gear. But he's good because if there's ongoing damage on the unit, he actually will get a haste buff. He has a bunch of effects revolving around that, but that's just the first, and that's on his auto attack skill. So that means this guy is going to attack fast because you have other units that are continually applying ongoing damage. And he gets bonus damage based off his max HP, which means he is going to live because you're going to build him tanky as he is a tank. On his skill 1, again, we get ongoing damage to nearby enemies. This is an AoE effect. Now, if there's already ongoing damage on the enemies, it'll also slow it. Now, I like this ability. I'm going to sidetrack real quick to show you some synergy with another unit for wave clearing. If you are lucky enough, if you did the event and you got your Casey or the Dark Ranger, her second skill, which is on an 8-second cooldown, is an AoE ongoing damage. So what that means, she can apply ongoing damage to waves as you're clearing the boss. Then your Nature Warlord will be able to go in, get a haste buff, do more AoE damage, slow them all down. So that's going to be a very, very, very good combo with those two for wave clearing. And actually, I'm considering using them like that in PvP just to see. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the greatest, as most everyone runs immunity at the higher level. but I'm interested to see how they'll synergize there. But getting back on track on building a Steel Widow or Elder Drake team. So coming back to him, now we have his next ability, Terrible Onslaught. This is good in PvP. I hate it because it pushes you back, and if you hit a wall, you're stunned. It'll also fear nearby enemies. It's a great ability. Next, we have Gorge. This one looks great. What happens is anyone around him who has ongoing damage, he will heal an additional amount based on the number of stacks. So if there's quite a few people around him, and we're talking about wave clearing in Elder Drake and Steel Widow, even if he gets low, he'll be able to use the skill to heal almost back up to full, because remember, you've got Monas dropping dots, you've got Casey, the Dark Ranger, dropping dots, and when I say dots, I'm referring to ongoing damage. Dot stands for damage over time. So you have all these dots or ongoing damage happening, and then he can heal up and keep on going. And because he's a tank, they're going to focus him. You're going to want to put him in slot 2, not slot 1. Because slot 1, you actually want to put Xenia there, so that way she can reach out and kill everyone without any issues, and they can also take advantage of her reduced cooldowns. Remember, she heals once when it goes out, and again when it contracts coming back to her. So this should give you an idea of the type of units that you're looking for. Ongoing damage is huge. Now, if you're lucky, I have not been lucky. The Snake Ladies are amazing. If you get a Snake Lady, you really don't have to theory craft or wonder, will this unit really fit in my team? It's gonna fit. She's gonna be effective. Builder, bringer, end of story. She is an excellent unit. I'm very much hoping I pull her tomorrow in my mass summon session. I didn't pull it last week and it was just a horrible summon, but here's hoping for tomorrow. So what are we looking for? We're looking for an attack buffer, a defense buffer, ongoing damage, a healer, and we're good to go. Those are the components that you're looking for. If you can get multiple from one unit, as in the case of Mojo, even better. And actually, I forgot another one, skill cooldowns. Skill cooldowns are important. So once you've gone through and you've selected your team, so we'll use my theoretical team that I do want to build, which is going to end up being the Nature Scan Warlord, the Nature Scion, the Dark Dryad, and Casey, the Dark Ranger. So I know it's a crazy team. I do like to do things outside of the box. I don't necessarily. Meta is awesome. I like it. It lets me know, hey, if I build this team, I can be successful. I can start gearing up. But once I've done that, I can branch out and maybe make some teams that maybe others wouldn't because they don't see the value, or they're just so niche in what they do, it's not worth it. This is something you definitely do not want to do starting out. You want to create a core team. You want to be all about the meta. If you have units outside the meta, but they do fill the role of meta units, use them, because they will be just as successful and even better, especially if they're 4 or 5-star units. As long as they fill that role, you're going to be good to go. And don't necessarily get frustrated if you don't get a nat 5. 4 stars for me at least have been pretty good, and there are amazing 4 stars out there that can work for you. The Nagas are great. I've run with my Nature Naga for quite a while. I really like him. He is amazing unit. He shields, he has mark. So I mean, I could use him in situations where, since I used the Water Pirate, now I don't need to run Mojo anymore, and that's why my Mojo isn't geared up. Because the shield can really work for me and for my team for a defense buff, and then the attack buff that I get from Pirate takes care of the attack from there. But you see how useful he was, though. He was basically those 2 units in one for me. So that's why it is okay to go meta in the beginning, because you will be successful. They are proven units. And a good meta team is Mojo, Xenia, Rhoda, Prude, the Water Scan Berserker, and also if you weren't lucky enough to get the Water Spearman. These are all great units. They're going to serve you well. The Crude and the Spearman more so for farming versus getting into D10 SW10. But then you have, like I said, Rhoda, who's just an excellent support option. You've got Manas, you've got all these great units out there for you. So once you've selected them, your farmer's max 5-star. Where are we going? What are we gonna do? Okay, so once you've selected a team, then you're gonna come back to your board. Now, I recommend we do this starting at board 1. You can do legend at this point on board 1, and the reason we're gonna start right here is if you take a look, we've got the symbols for the different gear sets that drop in the board. Vital is a crucial gear set starting out. So here what we're going to do is we're going to farm board 1 and start collecting the vital gear here on the map for the units we're raising. The more HP you have, the better. We really don't want to focus on these yet. You want to equip everyone with vital so they're living. You want to make sure in your slot, your shoulders, your hands, and your wrist that you are getting percentiles. You want to make sure it's at least 3-star gear. You don't want to really use 1 or 2. Sell all of it, no matter the stats. Just sell 1 or 2 hands down. Only use 3. If you do get a 3, don't go higher than +6 unless you have extra gold reserves. If you get a good 4, you can go to +9 on that. I really don't recommend 12 until you get to 5-star gear, unless it just rolled great substats for you and your bonus rolls all went into the substat you want. I really wouldn't go to 12 with 4. But it is a possibility if you get that really good piece of gear. So now you've got your team, you're hitting board 1, you're hitting all your scenarios and gearing them, and you want to do this until they're all max level 50 and have a full set of vital gear. This will get you into Elder Drake so you can start farming some of the better vital gear there. And once you're done with that, you want to start working on Steel Widow, focusing on either Steel Widow 3 or 4 depending on how your team composition looks like. That's going to wrap it up here for this video on where to farm, how to select your team, and what abilities you're looking for. Thank you, dudes and dudettes, for watching, and see you next video.